I know you told me you're going to start this right away, because some people are going to, trickle in later on, and then I'll share the video with them later on our page. But thanks for joining us. Two
Sure.
of my children go to Renton School District. Well, actually, 3 of my children, 1 of them graduated, 2 of them are still in it. So
Wonderful.
I was browsing around the Renton School page, and then I come across your email. And then that's when I decided to send you that email.
I'm glad you did. I appreciate you having me on, allowing me to speak.
Yeah. So this is Mommy's Corner. This platform was organized right after the pandemic, when everything was going crazy and haywire. Mommy's Corner is part of GBS. GBS is a nonprofit organization that supports women in healthcare system that is part of maternity. So GBS stands for, Zainab, can you help me out? Brain is all fried up today.
Sure. Global Perinatal Services.
Yeah, Global Prenatal Services. It's run by one of our sister, actually. And I think she's here today. She might come in and out. She's not feeling well, a little bit under the weather. So we formed this platform for community kind of, to come in and then to get some information, and to invite people like you in the community, to give some information, what's going on from school district to, Somali Health Board to, public health, and everything from teachers to whatever. And it just went on from there. So we've been running this platform every Saturday, 5 to 6 since then. So, and Seattle Public Schools been helping out us a lot, coming in, giving information, what's going on, helping with the community. And this year I was like, why not Renton School District? Maybe somebody can come out and, say something. So one of my kids go to Renton High and the other one goes to Sertori. So,
good school.
Yeah, good school. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, Renton High School Renton is coming today. So I'm not going to do bio, like I said in my email. I'm just going to give you the floor and do your short bio. And then I don't know if my sister sent some questions. Zainab, did you send some questions?
I did, but if Randy just wants to if he has a plan to just speak from the heart, and we'll take questions from the audience. If not, if they don't have it, and then we can refer to those questions.
Yep. Go for it. The floor is yours. I'm going to
Wonderful. Thank you. Again, I'm Randy Matheson. I'm the Executive Director of Community Relations in the Renton School District. My job is community outreach, communications with families and staff and students, and helping principals and schools communicate with their communities. We also do social media and media, local media, television news, and those kinds of things. And part of my job is to help inform the public about what we have planned for this coming school year, which is why I'm here today. So I really appreciate being a part of today's presentation. So September 1st is the first day of school for the Renton School District. That is September 1st for grades 1 through 12, and kindergarten starts on September 7th. And if there's any folks in the audience who have preschool children, we have a preschool program at Campbell Hill Elementary School on our in the Skyway area, and also Meadowcrest, and that school starts on September 8th. So September 1st is the big day for us. It's when most of our kids come back to school, 1st through 12th grade. We have in place a lot of protocols to keep students and staff safe. First of all, we'll cover sort of the basics, if that's okay. And then if I've missed any things that are important to folks, I'd love to take questions. But I think the first thing that's been asked of us a couple of times is, do students and staff wear masks, and do they have to be vaccinated? So on the mask part, yes, all students and staff, anybody who enters our buildings, visitors, family members, anyone who enters our buildings will be asked to wear their masks at all times. We will allow students to remove their mask at lunch, of course, lunch and breakfast, so that they can eat. And we will work in cafeteria and other parts of this school to keep students distanced as they take their mask off to eat. And students will also be allowed to take their masks off when they go out to recess. And of course, what we're going to have to do, it's going to be quite a task, but we think we're up to it, is as students are without masks on the playground, able to run around and get some fresh air, we're going to have to watch them and make sure that they don't group together in large groups. We still have to try to keep them distance. It's going to be, quite frankly, it's going to be impossible to keep them from getting close to each other on a playground as they play. But we'll watch students and make sure that they're not forming small groups and standing around together too much. We'll break them up and tell them to spread out and that kind of thing. So, but we think it's important for them to be able to be outside without their masks on. And of course, in Washington State, that's one of the governor's directives that if you're outside, even if you're vaccinated, you're okay without a mask. So that's the mask issue. Now, vaccines have changed a little bit. I don't know if you saw this recently. The governor came out with a new directive just last week that all school staff, both kindergarten through 12th grade and higher education in colleges, all staff will have to be vaccinated as a condition of employment. So our staff now are turning in their vaccination cards, showing that they've been vaccinated. We're working through some staff who don't want to be vaccinated. There are some rules about that, but for a lot of folks, it means just as the governor has directed, if you don't have your vaccine, you can't work in a school. So we're working with our staff to make sure our staff are vaccinated and can show proof of that. That vaccine requirement also extends to any families who come into school, any volunteers who come into school, substitute teachers, and so on. So if you're a family in our district and you come to do something at school, drop something off for your student, or come to pick your student up from school, we'll have to work with you to either stay outside and we bring the child outside to you, or you can show proof of vaccination and come inside the building to pick up your child. But again, it's a new regulation that the governor has just informed us all about last week, that vaccines are going to be required for folks who are going to be in schools. So those are the two big things. The other things that we're doing is our custodial staff are well trained now, because we've been doing it now for almost 2 years, where we are able to actually clean up school classrooms and common areas, lunchrooms and gyms, anywhere where students are. As they come in, they're in there, they move out, our custodial teams move in, do a quick disinfecting of the area, and then allow other students to come in. If a student is sick in our school, we will contact the parent and ask them to come back and pick them up. We will ask the parent to actually have the student tested for COVID. That's if a student is showing signs of COVID. Obviously, if a student's injured at school or something like that, that doesn't apply. But if a student comes to school sick, well, let me back up. First of all, we're asking our parents to make sure that they watch their child and watch for symptoms. If you show signs of COVID, we're asking anything. I mean, it could just be a cold or the flu. There are some elements in that are also signs of COVID. Any child that shows signs of COVID, we're asking a family to keep that child home, get the child tested. We are providing testing at our school. So if a parent wishes, they could contact the school and say, can my child be tested at school? And then we'll make arrangements for you to bring the child in and we can provide a test for them there. But we will be asking for tests of students who show signs of being sick. That's one of our protocols for keeping everybody safe. Cleaning and disinfecting classrooms and common areas are a big thing that we're doing. And we have worked over the last year to improve our ventilation systems, so our heating, cooling, and ventilation systems, to improve both airflow and to improve filtering of air in classrooms and around schools. We've upgraded all of our filters in the Renton School District to the highest level filter that the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has said is important for keeping the spread of COVID from happening. So we've upgraded all of our filters to that. They're called MERV 13. I don't know why I wanted to tell you that, but that's just the name of the filter. It's the best filter on the market for these kinds of respiratory illnesses. So we've upgraded it. Over the summer, we've also gone in at a lot of our schools and actually either replaced heating and ventilation systems or done repairs and upgrades to them. So we're really confident that our schools are ready with airflow and filtering of air for students in classrooms, in common areas, and anywhere inside schools. So heating and ventilation systems are upgraded, filtering is upgraded, Our cleaning protocols are in place, visually checking students for illness, having parents help us check students for illness, masks and vaccinations. Those are all of the protocols that we have in place. We've been using a lot of these for the last year. As you might recall, we did bring students in last year for about half the year. Not all students came back, about half of our students did come back, but it did give us an opportunity to actually test these protocols, how to go in and clean up after a classroom where there's been a positive COVID case, how to improve our ventilation systems, how to keep kids wearing masks. So all of those things we've tested, and we're really confident that the start of this school year, we're ready to invite kids back into classrooms, keep them safe and healthy, and have a productive school year. So that's sort of an overall view of what we're doing. I'm happy to take questions. I know there's some things that's probably on your mind.
Do anybody have a questions, parents? I mean, I have a plenty, but I don't want to take everything. And qofkii su'aal qabo oo rabo Ingiriis ku hadlayno anaga ofisirayno. Parents are quiet. This doesn't happen a lot. So I have a question.
Yes.
So IOP, children with disability.
Yes.
I hear a lot of stuff that's going on in the community. How is it Renton School District are handling that?
So last year, as we brought students back to school, again, about half of our students returned to school midway through the school year last year. Mm-hmm. So again, we had a lot of opportunity to test some of these processes before we brought all of the students back. And IEPs, so students with individual education programs that are specific to special needs for students, was a big deal for us. There are some students in these special needs classes that are unable to wear masks. So if you have a student that's in a special needs class and that student, his or her breathing just isn't compatible with masks, or he or she just isn't going to be able to keep a mask on. They just can't keep it on their face. They're going to keep removing it. We are working with our IEP staff and our special education staff to work with those individual students to keep them in school. So what we're not going to do is have a child removed from school, especially a special needs student, actually a special needs students, removed from school because they can't keep a mask on. It's just not compatible with the way they move and the way they act or their breathing. So we're going to work around that. We're going to keep other kids safe by keeping them masked. We're going to distance that student from other students inside the classroom. But our commitment to those students and those families is to keep providing students with individual and special education needs with those needs in classrooms to the greatest extent possible.
I have one more question in the poll. Let me see who had a question. What are they doing about the school workers who don't want to be vaccinated? Are these people going to lose their job if they don't comply?
That's a great question. Appreciate the question. The governor, again, just last week announced that all staff in schools across the state will have to show proof of vaccination in order to keep their jobs. He did provide some caveats to that. So he did provide some elements for religious reasons and some severe health reasons. We are working with our staff right now to identify who they are. So what we're doing right now is asking all of our staff to show proof of vaccination. Any staff that doesn't have that proof, we're asking them, now let's talk about why you can't have a vaccination, why you won't get a vaccination, and what those reasons are. Are they religious? Are they health related? And then what can we do if you do fall into those categories to provide you with some kind of work that doesn't involve being in a classroom or in a school around students? Because the key is if you're going to be around our students and if you're going to be in schools working with other staff, we need to keep all those staff and students safe. If for some reason you as an individual can't or won't get a vaccination, we'll work with you to the greatest extent possible to figure out what we can do to assist you to keep your job. But our commitment is to all of the students and staff that need to be kept safe in schools. So we're going to work toward that. And if there is reasons for you not to be able to get vaccinated, we'll have to work with you one-on-one and try to find out where's the best job, what's the best fit for employment in the district for you, away from kids and other staff.
Makes sense. I had somebody's hand out earlier. Who's that person? I'm sorry, I didn't see it.
And here with Taylor, and she asked a question.
Oh, okay, that's good. Thank you, Taylor. I didn't see your hand up. Anybody else?
Yeah, I have a question. So, Randy, is there a choice to switch from in-person to remote learning if families are feeling uncomfortable? And how is that process in your district?
Great question. Thank you. I should have answered that or included that earlier. So back in May, we asked our families, all of our families, and we've got about 15,000 families in the district. We asked all of our families, if we are able to open school in the fall for full back to school, who would want to come? 96% of our families said that they would be ready to return their child to school. So 4% said, I don't know yet, or I'm not sure, or absolutely not. So as we get closer to the school year, we're seeing some of that 4% now start to either move into in-person learning or stay remote. We have two programs for remote families. One is for kindergarten through 5th grade, so our elementary schools. And then the other program is for 6th through 12th grade. That's our middle through high schools. Our kindergarten through 5th grade program is called Renton Remote School. And all of this program can be found on our district website, rentonschools.us. But we have two programs specific to either kindergarten through 5th grade, so elementary school, or middle through high school. Those programs are going to be very different than the remote school that we provided last year. It's not going to be a Zoom class from your classroom teacher. So we're moving all of our classroom teachers back into the classroom, and they're going to be responsible for their class. So it'll be 22 students at certain grades or up to 30 students at other grades at the higher grades in middle and high school. So our teachers in class are going to be responsible just for that. They're not going to be doing Zoom and in person. We have separate programs now specifically for those families who want to remain remote. They're easy to enroll in. We ask that any parent who hasn't made a choice yet make that choice now, because we've hired 125 new teachers to be in classrooms. And so we want to make sure we have enough teachers for the classroom programs and the few that's going to be in these remote programs. But again, the remote programs are very different than what they were last year. They're not going to be your teacher from your school in a Zoom class with your child. It's going to be a teacher at the kindergarten through 5th grade, a Renton teacher in some Zoom classes, and then in some independent work. And then at the middle through high schools, there's going to be, most of that is going to be remote work. It's a program that we've had in place already for students who already work by themselves at home as opposed to coming to school. So again, two very distinct programs. You can enroll in those programs still today before the start of school, but we do ask any family that wants to make a move either way that they let us know next week, because school starts September 1st and we want to make sure all of our teachers in class ready.
So Randy, are you saying like if families right now opt for in-person and then somewhere down the line they're like, this is not right for our family, can they switch to remote learning?
So families can go either way through the school year.
Okay.
The biggest transition is if you choose in-home learning, and then 3 months into the school year or halfway through the school year, you want to move back into the classroom, you'll be able to do that only if there's room for you at your school and in your classroom, right? So if you're a 2nd grade parent, there's got to be room in that 2nd grade class, okay? The easier way will be to move from in person to in-home, because there's no restrictions on numbers there. So if a parent has a child in school in 6th grade and he or she just feels like it's just not working, I'm just too frightened about COVID, you can move into the remote program halfway through the year. You've got to gauge whether or not your student is going to be able to manage being in a classroom with a teacher, and then at the middle school and high school level, moving into a program where you don't have access to a teacher every day. What you do is a lot of you have a lot of independent work that you're doing. You can contact a teacher every day to ask questions, but you're not going to have that one-on-one instruction that you have in the classroom.
So it's not going to be like last year on Zoom. This is just more independent work, and if you need help.
It's very much.
Okay.
That's right. Very much. Now at the kindergarten through 5th grade, you do have more access to teachers, but the middle and high schools, there's going to be a lot of it.
Yes. Okay. Oh, thank you for clarifying.
Sure.
You make a lot of sense now. So I got one more question. Let me see. Okay, let me see. What was it? Are they offering just virtual learning in your district or other districts? We also have a Seattle School District person representing, but go ahead and answer this question, Randy, as soon as you go in first.
So our programs are specific to our district. So you're going to be enrolling in a program and remain within the Renton School District. They're at the middle through high school level. There's a program we use called Ingenuity. So it's a program that we use in our district for students who learn independently, but you are still remaining within our district. So you're not enrolling in the Seattle School District or Bellevue or Kent. You're not moving from one district to another. You're staying within our district, but you're just going to be using that program that we use. That's an outside program. Again, that's at the 6th through 12th grade. Kindergarten through 5th grade, you're going to be using our teachers. You're just not assigned to a school, you're assigned to that program. Does that answer that question?
And you're muted.
Ouch.
Is that me?
I think he was muted. Yeah.
I'm so glad when we go back to normal life, if we're going to go back to normal life. Somebody else have a question. It says, how is your district catering to social and emotional learning of students and teachers and staff? That's a big question.
We have trained and practiced and implemented social emotional learning into every grade level. All of our teachers are being trained on social emotional learning. That means that what they're doing is they're paying attention to students' emotional needs as well as their academic needs. All of our staff are trained on it. All of our staff have been implementing this over the years. And in fact, this year, as we are bringing students back after being away for an entire school year, our staff are even more heightened and aware of the need to pay attention to the social emotional needs of students. So here's our promise to families. Your student comes back to school. If your student comes in and is just reacting differently, or there's some emotional element to your student because he or she just hasn't been around other kids for a while, our promise to our parents and our students is we're going to watch that. We're going to help that student get through that. And we are not going to move to taking kids out of school because they're acting differently or they're acting up, because their social emotional needs need to be met after such a long time away from other kids and school and the environment. We are prepared to put in the extra work to make sure every kid that shows a social emotional need has that need met at school. And we're not taking them out of school or punishing them or sending them home and saying we just can't deal with it. We're committed to dealing with it in school.
Yeah, it's going to be different. It's going to be a lot different. One more question. Does your district have a social workers?
Yes. Yes, our district has social nurses. We have about 14 nurses district-wide. We have about 25 schools. We have social workers that work in every school. We have folks who are trained for social emotional in social emotional learning and social emotional advocacy for students at every one of our schools. Quite a few of our teachers are have trained and have certification in certain social emotional sort of elements of what education is. So even though we provide training to an individual teacher for a classroom to manage her classroom, we also have other staff in the building who are trained specifically for social emotional needs of students.
Glad we have that. Any more questions? قبل السؤال كليا قبو قف سؤال قو ما جرى لو ترجمانايو.
I have two questions, Randy, if I may. I know Randy has to leave soon.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine with time. Thank you.
Yeah. I wanted to know, Randy, if you could offer any advice for parents and guardians who are, sending their kids back to school. What sort of like, how should we prepare our kids before they go back?
So forgive me, I truly don't want to sound like I'm preaching to parents, but I think the best thing we can all do for our children as they're going back to school is not overload them with the heaviness of what this moment means.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? So I think for their social emotional well-being, we try to present this school year the way we would the start of any school year, with hope, with an opportunity for a great future, to make new friends, to learn new things, to have experiences. And I think if students come to school, and I really trust that they will, if students come to school ready to learn, we're ready to teach them. And I think both of those elements will combine for a wonderful school year. So I think just making sure that your student is ready to come to school, just like any other school year, with the hope and the joy that school brings. I mean, some kids will tell you they hate school, but that's where you make friends. That's where you learn things about yourself. That's where you learn things about the world around you. It's where you learn things about others and understand other people's religions and cultures. And there's just, we've got so much to offer students. If they're coming to us in the right frame of mind, we're ready for them. If they're coming to us with a little bit of distraction or some social emotional need, we're ready for that too. I do want to mention one other thing that we do in the Renton School District, now that I'm thinking about it. Any student in elementary and middle school has school supplies for them at their desk on the first day of school. So this might be a little late, but if you're a parent and you still haven't bought school supplies and your child is in our district from kindergarten through 8th grade, you can choose to not buy anything. Have them come to school on the first day. We give them everything they need right at their desk, and we give it to them the entire year. They run out of paper, we give them more. Run out of pencils, give them more. They are assigned a Chromebook in elementary all the way through high school. We assign learning devices, computers for students that they can take home to learn with. The school supplies is $30 per family. So you pay one time for the entire year. If you're on free or reduced lunch, if you're a family that has filled out the free or reduced lunch form, it's $10 for the entire year for school supplies. So, and for some that want to buy school supplies, and that's something that a student really loves to do, you can still bring your own if you choose to. But that's something that we offer students this year. One other thing that our district is offering, and I think Seattle's offering also, every student eats free this year. There's no charge for meals, no charge for breakfast, no charge for lunch. Everyone's eating free this year at school. So school lunches are free. That's for the entire school year. So the U.S. Department of Agriculture has provided us the opportunity to do that. So those are the two things that I should have mentioned right at the start: school supplies and free meals this year in the Renton School District.
Yep, one of the questions that came out was that about the school supply. Actually, it was will the kids share a school supply in the classroom? If also, will those sanitized at regular basis? And you just answered that question. Will they sanitize the school buses?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I do want to mention that students won't share the stuff, so they won't be passing around pencils and things. It will be they will get their own school supplies, and we won't be allowing students to use different things. So if they're books and things like that, we'll be assigning to individual students, so they're not passing those around. And each student in our schools are provided with a learning device. At kindergarten through 2nd grade, I think it is, smaller kids get iPads, and those remain at school. But from 3rd grade on up to 12th grade, they get a Chromebook. And at most schools, they get to take those home with them to learn, so they're not leaving them in the classroom. So we won't be giving school supplies around, or even books and things like that around to students, so we don't have to worry about the sanitation of those, because we're not going to be passing those around in the classroom.
Yep. And I think we did last year too, for the $30 school
Yes,
supply.
that's right.
Which is actually, you guys, that's the best thing. I remember running, ripping around middle of the night looking for a particular eraser. But when that came out in Renton School District, I was like, thank you. I don't have to go rip around and run around and look for school supplies. It's easy. I'm just grateful.
That's great. Wonderful.
Any last questions before we let Randy go, guys?
Sorry, I got disconnected. My battery died. I just had one last question. For Randy.
Go ahead.
Yeah, for like in the bathrooms or like in the hallways when kids are interacting, is there someone, you know, watching them, making sure social distance protocols are followed, or like they're not taking off their masks and things like that?
Yes, yes, we're going to have staff in the school. So obviously not teachers, because they're in the classroom, but staff in schools that have responsibilities around the school will be watching bathrooms and hallways and other areas where students can sort of gather. At the higher levels in high school and middle school, we've got commons areas where students sort of, they used to, hopefully they will again soon, used to come together, sort of be together before school and after school, or things like that. We've got school security staff, we've got school maintenance staff that are going to be watching for that. Our school maintenance staff will be constantly cleaning bathrooms all day long. They'll be moving in there. They have protocols. They have these sprayers, and they're not chemical sprayers. They're sort of air kind of sprayers that, so you don't have to worry about extra chemicals with students. But there's a protocol that they have to go in and clean bathrooms routinely through the day. Same thing for common areas. And we'll be watching for students that sort of congregate too much, and reminding them that we're keeping 3 feet distance and to move on to class.
Thank you.
I like that. I like that. I have one last question, and I totally forgot what was the question. It was a kind of funny question too. I forgot. But I'm just excited. School is opening up for the first time in a year and a half for full time. And kids are excited too. I never seen my 10-year-old say, Mom, I'm just excited to go back to school. I was like, oh my God, I never thought I'd hear those words.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. See, there's the attitude. If a student comes to school with that attitude, everybody's going to be ready for it. We're going to get right back into teaching kids at school. We will have outbreaks this year. We will have cases this year. We do have a protocol in place that if a student is sick in the classroom and they later learn to have COVID, we have a process where we identify the students that were near that student, who had their mask on, who didn't, who was too close to them. We test those students. So we have a protocol to go through if there are positive cases of COVID. And we will have that. There's no way around that. It's still here, and we've got a lot of students, but we're ready to deal with it on an individual basis. And we've got testing in place, we've got cleaning in place, and we think our families are ready to come back, and our students are ready to come back, and we're happy to offer that this year.
Are we offering after school and before school?
Yes. Yes, we have Right at School program. It's right there at Sartori. Actually, Right at School is our before and after program at every one of our elementary schools. So again, if you go onto our website, rentonschools.us, you can find out more information about before and after school programs. Now, those are fee programs. So those do cost money for families to have their students stay before and after school. But again, if you have filled out the free and reduced lunch form, the cost for those is significantly reduced. And I will say this, the costs that we have for those programs are far less than daycare. So if you have a student in kindergarten through 5th grade, and you need to have them stay at school till say 6:30 in the evening so you can get off work and go pick them up, that program is a perfect program for you.
I heard last year, and before the pandemic, when Sartori was introduced that program, I was there, and it's really a good program for parents who can't afford daycare.
Good. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Well, I thank you so much, Randy. I appreciate it. I hopefully I will see you in person some days. I'll run into you in the district or somewhere.
Please invite me back, or if shoot me an email and ask for somebody else. If you have other needs, I'm happy to help out. We'd love to continue being a part of this.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Very nice meeting you, Randy.
It was nice. Thank you. Bye. Okay, where is my friend Farhia Abayo? Are you still here, Farhia? Aba Farhia, mate manta. Where is she? Salam alaikum, ladies.
Alaikum salam. I haven't seen her.
You haven't?
Unless she's using a different name.
Yeah. She hasn't sent me any email that says no. So, okay, maybe no email, no text. Okay. Okay, so I guess I haven't seen her today. So, are you able to share what other send information from Seattle district, or you want me to pull it out and screen share it?
Yeah, I just pulled it out.
Okay, you want to screen share and then we can just discuss that this next 20 minutes.
Sure, let me screen share here.
Hi, Gabdo. Everybody who's in here today, mashallah, thank you guys for joining us. So who's ready for back to school? Because I am. I don't know about you guys, but I am ready. I'm ready to send these rugrats to school. Who are kids are happy, because my kids are happy and excited to go back to school.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Wa alaikum salam, Abayo.
How you guys doing? I am ready to, so I'm with you.
Oh, you are too?
My kids, they're ready.
Oh, they are? Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I cannot wait to send this rugrats this year. Wallahi, billahi talai. I think as a parent, the day we send this kids to school, back to school, we should come together, all of us, and just have a coffee and just like a little party get together for freedom.
Yes.
Wallahi, we should have a get together party, freedom. You're like, yay.
Absolutely.
So Seattle School District, I think if some of you might know him, he's been working in Seattle School District for like, I think about 20 years now. And, you know, Allah gave me a chance to work with him a couple of years while I was in Seattle School District, has sent me this information to share it with you guys. Today, he really wanted to be here, but he is not here. He's in Oregon. So this information, Seattle Public Schools. How many of you children are going to Seattle Public Schools? Just raise your hand. Okay, everybody's quiet. How many of you see him keep going back up? I don't have control. I cannot do it. Oh, can you do it? Okay.
Yes, this is also they sent it out in Somali. Whoever would like, we can also put that up too.
Okay. Let me know. I will actually send it to you personally. Text gray. It's the information that came from Seattle Public Schools. So did he send any other issues saying for like when the school starts and what are the importance like of things that
yeah, right here.
The first day of school, they are going through September 1st as well? Oh, wow, this year, so Seattle and Renton this year are the same?
Yeah.
That's for us too, and in Federal Way.
And Federal
It's
Way?
the first. Yes, and I think, Yasmin, you're the same too in Tequila.
In Tequila?
Yes, it's the first.
They are going crazy. And to appease us, they're providing free lunch and free breakfast for everybody. This is going to be interesting.
For me, as long as the kids are not home, I'm good. Telling you guys. Anyway, let's give that one. Okay, so first day of school. Okay, we are all gonna be the same. Inperson.
Did you say they're giving out lunch?
Free lunch and
free lunch, not only to people.
I don't want them eat nothing.
That's right. Not only to people who are free, you know, and reduced whatever. For everyone, they're offering free lunch, and they're not going to be doing that temperature check. Remember how they were doing temperature check at home?
Oh,
they're not doing that. I'm like, why?
Yeah, we used to fill out that health paperwork.
Yes, they're not doing that anymore.
Why not?
I don't know.
Because
When
they
they're
have
not
to
checking.
know if any kid's sick, they have to send them home. Like they supposed to do that. Oh my God, this is not going to be safe at all.
No, I feel like they're just blind. They want to just get school started. So they want to just,
Yeah.
goodness. Yeah, this is crazy.
Maybe I should bring
But they
other
recommend all the teachers to get their COVID now shot.
Yeah, which I love.
But it's recommended, not.
No, it's mandatory.
Oh,
Seth.
it's mandatory, girl. They lose their job.
Oh, okay.
It's required now.
They
have
lose
to.
their job.
Unless you have a religious reason. He said earlier, and it's also the same thing in the healthcare. If you have like a religious reason, they're not going to make you.
Or health reason.
Yeah, it has to be valid though. You can't just be like, my religion says I don't want it. You have to show.
You have to have a doctor's note from that too.
Or
rabbi or imams. No, it's okay. Imam can no Quran. I'm just kidding, guys. Don't.
I seen it. Imam can no Quran.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think they might do temperature checks at Renton because this guy sounds like really, he's on the money. I think our district, Highline School District, will be doing temperature checks.
No. We're doing temperature check both at home. We're still doing our login from home, and then they'll do it at the school too.
No, far away. It's not, girl. They're like, just bring them, just send them over.
They didn't say no temperature thing in Tukwila School District.
Yeah. Yep. For us, they were like, just send them over. That's it.
That is okay.
I don't like that.
Ooh, okay, so we have a transportation. They will have transportation, childcare. I like the program all at Ohio or right at school or Renton School District Heisto. It's not owned by the school. It's another agency that comes to the school that does before and after school program for the families and and it's not for free. You have to pay money, but if you are free lunch or free reduced lunch or قادتي scale waxa laga dhima lacagta. But there is really good program. And hadda ka horaan maqlay because gabar Soomaaliya ka shaqayn jirtay aan arki jiray, she liked the program. And she was telling me one time, how exclusive is the program, better than markii iskuulaadka ay bixinayaan in the program. It's different because it runs by different agency, for that program. It's called Right to School program. Okay, the meals, breakfast, lunch, and provided free is the same thing. Okay, it will continue after summer. Throughout Friday, blah, 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 blah. Okay, keep going, Zainab. Childcare provided, okay, before and after school.
I think that's it.
That's it? Halas Lamia?
That's it.
Oh, okay.
السلام عليكم على سعادة.
وعليكم السلام أبا سفيو. سيتا حبيبتي.
ما شاء الله يلبسك فيه.
في عين مع نسيتين إذكا.
الحمد لله الحمد لله.
سكول ديار موتين.
سكول ديار والله هاي.
هاي.
كويش مرة غينا كويديو.
هاي حبيبتي go ahead.
شكلنا هذا اللي قصة الدرع السنة كان اللي قدر يا سماع لابتي قربني.
لابتي معنتو.
حاليه أو مارك قام اللون هذا.
أو بذحية. تاس I think in a past grade مرة معنتو مرة of course ها curriculum كوي كوجرتا ملاينا I think.
يركن.
وأنا ملاينا يا guys that's why أنا ربي موقتها محلنا فرحي إنه نوتي ماذا ما أذير ونوي ماذا. And I was going to ask that question because Seattle Public School was school وين واي district مقتهي. Because that's the reason أنا أقول فرحية إنه نوع ماتو أما إن أذر محمد رب إنه نوع أذر على رب إنه نوع ماذا. سي أنا أقول بس أنا أرنت حسيته.
ها لكن وحا مقلي وحواي هذا كوكو حرنتاي choice الله ده ودي ذكرتها هدي الحال يصير عنقاد إنه قاتها class لكن yeah still حالة choice
وقت في صدر لقني والله بحكي أساس مية
that's why ها curriculum كانوا وصلوا درايان أنت class كلا بلاوين هذه وعارف كرتا markii waxyaabahaas ku daraan xilligaas waa dhigi kartaa cunugeyga ha laga saaro
labood adi
ama waa wada diidi kartaaba inuu cunuga qaato maxaa la dhihi jiraa si programkaas inuu iskuulka qaato
qasab maaha yani optional qasab ma jiro
optional waay
yeah Well, that's going to be a problem. Also, maxaa la dhahaa markii first day of school is very important waalidiinta inay aadaan. Always waa ula taliyaan. And markuu maxaa la dhahaa also ay qabaan PTA meeting ama markino information night marka la dhahayo. Information night is very important inay aadaan. And haddii xataa aadan qabin maxaa la dhahaa turjumaan school court waxay ku fiican Seattle school waxay ku fiican horta ayaga event markay leeyihiin always waxay haystaan in turjumaanay qabaan ay dalbadaan. So it's important inaad tagtaan idinka when they have maxaa la dhahaa magaciisi information night ama maxaa la dhahaa habeenada oo ay qabaan in maxaa la dhahaa magaciisi. Nasteexo, do you know anything about information about maxaa la dhahaa ku saabsan in curriculum kaasayto adaa la shaqayn jirtay iskuulaadka mar hore for a while? Maybe waa mashquulsantaha muleyna.
magacayga Saad. عليكم السلام.
Do you know anything about the curriculum about maxaa la dhahaa in Qomoluudka?
I do not. What I know is because I work with little kids.
Oh,
Yeah, so early learning. So MAHA from age 1 through age 5. So the Head Start ECAP programs.
Yeah.
Those ones that it's 1 second. Those ones they are not they're not included.
Yeah, that's good.
Kindergarten, starting from kindergarten. So and I think you can there has to be exempt.
They can exempt parent waa ka bixin karaan ilmaha.
Exempted from it. That I know. I think the parents have the right to remove their kids from when the training or whatever the curriculum is being taught. That's my understanding. So it's better, always good to go, ask the teacher like what lesson it is, the time, and then tell them specifically, I do not want my kid to be in this for religious reason, I do not want it. So that should be okay. But for what I know for sure is the little kids, they won't be taught because they don't even, I think it starts from kindergarten or first grade.
I think kindergarten ka bilaabtaan jeclahay. Is in kindergarten.
maxaa la dhihi jiray the sexual aspect ma barayaan. It's more waxa waaye
Psychological,
social interaction iyo waxaas waaye. Marka waxaasay barayaan macnaha good touch, bad touch iyo waxaasaa la baraa ma aha maxaa la dhihi jiray asi you know the terminology-ga waxa lagu waco you know penis or vagina waxaasiti maaha maxaa la dhihi jiray asi. Yeah, so kindergarten it's just waxa waaye maxaa la dhihi jiray safe, how to be safe. haddii qof oo ku taabto meelaha xunxun oo kaa taabto qofka ina u sheegto waalidiintaada waxyaabahaasay barayaan. That's pretty much it. So that's why I have.
Okay, and I think after kindergarten it's about there's more than a man and a woman on Malena.
Yes. Markaasay sheekada bilaabanaya oo haddaa rabtid oo maxaa la dhahay gabaraa ku dhalatay gabar ahaan haddii aad dareemaysid wiil inaa naqatid inaa okay yahay markaasay bilaabanaya.
Oh, the big deal. First grade Mia.
Maya waxa waaye kas 6th grade and above waa markaasay tid. Yeah. Marka waxaan ii weydiinaa if there is or jiro child maxaa la dhihi jiray asi sex ed or with Islamic perspective ma waa idinka waalidiintiina ahaan ma rabaysin in ilmihiina usoo dirtiin ay maxaa la dhihi jiray asi ay ka qayb galaan. Yeah. Because dadka oo Christianity waa qabaan such thing. Markino waxyaabaha macnaha because it's very important ilmaha inay ogaadaan just you know proper touch inay diidi karaan consent and all that stuff. Maxaa la dhihi jiray marka laakiin idahan waxa waaye Qomoluud staff ay ku darayaan waa ogtihiin. It's not just
even Islamic perspective of that idaha Qomoluud waa laga hadli karaa in that curriculum, you know, but from Islamic perspective because
naarta galayaan qofka inuu ilaahay raali ka ahayn waa lagu soo dari karaa. laakiin la dhihi karo cunugaasito waxaanayto haddaad feel garaysid macnaha okay waaye ku dhaqan.
No, yeah, that's why it's Islamic perspective. It covers everything.
Covers
Oh,
everything.
gaalada ay cover gareeyaan from the perspective of maxaa la dhihi jira Islam.
diinta ku saabsan ha sheekha waa qabar gareynaya maalintaas videogaas inaan raadiyo waa idinla sheer gareeya macnaha oo ka hadlaya u dhahay macnaha ilmaheena xataa waa in la baraa in maxaa la dhahaa waxaanayto in early age because hadhow xataa markay meelaha banaanka ay aadaan ama iskuulaadka ay dhigaan ilmaha qaarkood maarkino dad oo stranger xataa markay tataawanayaan macnaha anaga waalid ahaan ma barin xataa ma fahmin oo marka important ay u tahay inaan anaga barno ama ay haystaan sida hadda faa'iiso dhehayso waa dadkan kirishtaanka churchada markay aadaan xataa waxay qabaan galaasyo oo lagu baro ilmaha inta iskuulka la gaarin ka hor oo la dhaho waxaan haddii saan insaan u dhacaan saana kugu dhici doonto waxaan haddii saan insaan qofkan ku dhaho saana dhici doonto marka anaga dugsiyadeena iyo maxaa la dhahaa iskuulaadkeena macnaa oo diinta laguma baro ilmaheena waa inaan ilmaheena ku barnaa waa inaan bilownaa waxyaalahaas hadda movement weynaa socdo oo Me Too movement ay leeyihiin oo soomaalida ku saabsan naagaha laakiin waa inaan mid oo u sameynaa oo ku saabsan ilmaha si aan u barno dhalinyarada yaryar especially waxyaalahaas inaysan okay ahayn.
Taylor is on Saad and we're like chatting away.
I'm sorry, Taylor. We're talking about Islamic perspective of what is it called? Faisal? Sexual class?
Sex ed.
Sex ed class. The Islamic perspective way, you know, like teaching our children in the Islamic way instead of our children learning from school, because right now school sex ed is changing from the regular sex ed, you know, like the kids used to take for like one semester, which is like 3 months, to from, you know, how it changed for right now from kindergarten to 12th grade, you know, like the curriculum, the entire curriculum, it changed to including, you know, homosexuality and, you know, gender binary and LGBTQ plus whatever. Yeah. Yeah, I know. And the numbers are getting, I mean, the letters are getting big nowadays. It's just too much. Yeah. Yeah. So it was nice that Seattle, the Renton School District, Randy came and, mashallah, did good presentation. Yeah. So anything else? Halimo, Abayo, you have any question, Habibti? I know Ilmahaga, they go to Seattle School District. Are you guys ready?
سعادة يا حبيبتي السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. ويلش ديار ميه سنة كان. Well, هذا لكو هذا.
أيوب واي أيمن بري سكول نوراد.
يا نيكي كلا ويلي ما هن ما هو تأسي بري سكول سنة كان.
أصلا بري سكول سنة كان صدح ونقنا هذا لبعتني صدح بشان.
أو هابس وقت جرسنا هي أسي مركز.
يا حبيبتي.
وكا جرسنا بري سكول وكا جرسنا so.
وكا جرسن كراسة ما هن.
جرسن كراها.
إن شاء الله أنا أصور هذه أنا راسلتها. كلكم السوا حبكم السوا قولين بولي.
The best school at Gain is preschool and جعلها هذه كودا وحواي محلها South Shore.
ما شاء الله.
South Shore and preschool جعلها يعني. I mean وقتي يقولون بيسويا هذا ما أقول لكن. They have a good school.
مرفع أنت أنا سأب بحسد مية سيارة public school سأب بحي مثلا.
In a district أتكتيد always سأب بحسد. كبعد أيها قراية. Especially الأدرس كاجا you automatically will qualify South Shore.
إن شاء الله أنا أدرس كان أمرسون نودران I don't know.
أو preschool. وحيد قلت أنا استيحوي قريها ماركنو أو أبارتمنتوين كروس لده روس apartment أو حمر وين كسر جيران.
Okay.
Do you have any idea where ilmaha they guessing karto?
Denise Louis at Rainier. Denise Louis. They have a really good Head Start program.
Oh yes, Denise Louis is good.
Inta ku yaala ba?
Rainier ku yaala and guryaha oo Lake Washington dhinaciisa inuu ku. If not, I can send Suad some information.
أنا كوسوف درايو.
أيه معانته إن شاء الله. شكرا.
Denise
Louis. waa ka fiican yahay iskuulaadka preschoolkooda Denise Louis. It's more intimate way. Yeah. maxaa dhihi lahay so registration naa samaysiin waaye even cunigaada haduu the same school as the last year this year haddana registration naa samaysiin waaye say ku ogaadaan so it's not like one time a registration sameynay san walba waa you know automatically waa enroll gareenayaan ma aha so you have to inaad samaysid registration san walba
for Denise Louis
no iskuulaadka kale
ولادك ما يدنسلو if it's a returning student you don't have to do application.
Yeah. The other kindergarten, middle school, and high school.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Yep. And this time they're saying all the school back to Clio can send out all the supplies I got seen in school. I don't know if that's the same for your school.
I don't know, but like أنا قبل مقول كان backpack اللي قادنونا.
ساس اللي معونك backpack اللي هكين so all the supplies I got seen.
So they can have lockers inside the classroom, like those lockers that you can put your stuff in. It's your own.
Or the cupboard
That would inside the classroom then.
ما أقان والله. They just said because they sent a letter to us a couple of days ago. Federal way. المها backpack اللي هكين سان. I didn't read anything about locker. I don't know. I think in a measure so tagayan a laptop. You know how they did last year. School
Highland ma ku jiriya sawaan Highland kuma jiro.
I think Highland ku jira umaleena laakiin weydii because this year what the same with the sameeyeen iskuulaadka dhan the same time I bilaaween a lot of stuff the free lunch and everything is the same waxay isku dayoyin in a dadka u fududeeyaan
إلهي نو فضي لكن إلهي نو فضي المهن إلهي نو بدبادي because هذه سكولات بدن أو إيست ولا عندك سنة نيوزك infection بدنا كده دلاعي إلهي نو فضي وحكروا ده هنا سكير.
آمين يا رب.
حنوك لكن وصابت سيدي معقول وطي سكولات يلا طبعا.
وصابت حنوك وصابت حنوك. إلهنا قرقار wax kala leena idinka just to make sure la ilmaha markay iskuulka aadayaan geedaha markano gacmaha lagu tiranayo markano yiriska oo colorka joogo ina u gelisaan backpack tina and because ilmaha waxaan ma ogtahay ha iska gacmaha isaga tiraan ani kuwaas ani kan marnaa waxaan ka jeclahay kan oo clothka aan jeclahay clothka markay gaariga soo koraan intay wax taawanin waxa leedahay hooyo waa kana titir hadii baska soo raacaan intay guriga soo galin ka hor sidoo kale waxa leedahay guriga markay soo galaan حقتك صور دقة جمعها صابونته 20 سكند صور دقة صور نظيفة صور تشروك بعد يقولوا بالسوق سن كاين هتاون أفكار هتاونين محل المو كله كنترول كلين
كنترول كده والله
كده دالينا محسمينها على كل بعض توذي المهي أنا قد حدينا أنا كده دالينا
والله سنة كان سكول كاس كتغان إله إن شاء الله
عادي
hadda aad bay ugu faraxsan yihiin kole inay ku laabtaan
aad iyo aad
markas 2 sano guryaha fadhiya waa soo nacay guryaha
soo nacaan
ayaga xataa depressed ku noqdeen guriga
aad iyo
ilaa inta la iska saarnayna siliyala
ilaahay subxaanahu wa ta'ala
and I think حتى guriga laga sameeyo temperature check I think it's a requirement that they do temperature check when kids are coming in
yes
from so hopefully it would be detected on ilmaha haystaan elevated temperature probably would be isolated hopefully and then mask caawina xoogaa
mandatory كديان ilmaha yiriska oo 12 not mandatory but require not kind of requirement I mean not require but oo in la soo talaalo so iskuulaadka xataa hada lagu talaalooyaa in maxaa la dhahaa ilmaha yiriska 12 wixii ka koreeya guys I gotta go qof ba ay imaaday it's good to see you everybody and next week waxaan arkaynaa same time 5 o'clock waxaa inoo imaanayso gabar oo Soomaali oo ka imaanayso meesha caafimaadka Kinkani public health oo ka sheekeynayso ka hadlayso the importance of xaaladaha guryaha caafimaadkooda oo ku saabsan lead
insha Allah
don't forget imaada
insha Allah
sara dhiga dambe miya
asabtida soo socota insha Allah waa idin soo diraa link haduu Ilaahay yiraahdo
بدل ما سنت خير الله يسير سنة ولا شقينا جزاك الله خير
السلام عليكم